Welcome, everybody. We hope you're enjoying Unbox so far. Thank you for joining us today for this session where we're going to talk about the future of commerce and the many ways that Square is working to build the most powerful commerce ecosystem in the world. Excited to do this. Sometime last year, we partnered with Wakefield Research, a company we work with, to survey about 1,000 customers across retail, restaurants, and beauty sellers. And talking to these merchants really helped us deepen our empathy for our sellers and highlighted many of the trends that have been accelerated by the pandemic. In this session, we're going to talk all about this and how Square is working to support all of these sellers. But first, you don't know who we are, so let's do some introductions. My name is Oseyi, lead product for our orders, checkout, and reporting teams. My team and our team's goal is really to connect the Square ecosystem in a way that allows sellers to sell anywhere and really delight their buyers with powerful experiences. I'm joined by Cyndy. Hi, Cyndy.
Hey, Oseyi. Thank you for welcoming me. As Oseyi shared, I'm the GM for Square's Commerce Platform team, of which Oseyi and his team are a part. Our organization unites a significant investment in product development resources on a mission to build flexible platform components that developers can extend to the Square ecosystem to serve our sellers. So our job and how we know we're successful is if year over year, it gets easier to build on the Square platform. And then year over year, sellers are benefiting faster and faster from new solutions.
Thank you, Cyndy. Also, those headshots look cool. I think I should change my official one to that one now. So this is going to be good. We're going to have fun today. Let's get right into it. So the first theme we're going to talk about is about saving time. So merchants of all kinds need to save time because, like they say, time is literally money for merchants. And so you've all heard about stock shortages, and sellers increasingly have like complex operations that they have to do in their businesses, and they need to make the most of their time and the time of their employees. So Cyndy, would be great to start us off if you could share a little bit about how Square and then how our group, Commerce Platform specifically, is helping to make sellers save time in their business and to get some time back.
Oh my gosh. So saving time, it's an evergreen goal. I'm pretty sure every seller I've ever talked with wishes for more time back. I don't know anyone that has gone into business to be busy. Everyone I know goes into business to follow their passion, and less time running your business gives you more time to follow your passion and thrive as a business owner. So at Square, our overarching goal is a passionate understanding of the problems that our sellers face. And we describe those problems using the jobs to be done framework, or jobs for short. And we'll talk about them in the context of the help wanted that our sellers are hiring for. What problems are our sellers facing? And one of the most common ones is, please give me some time back. So our ecosystem serves those jobs with tools and solutions. So our platform is the foundation of that ecosystem. Our platform primitives are shared across the Square ecosystem, which gives a lot of cohesion and making it really simple for a seller to start with one solution or tool with Square. And as their needs evolve or as their business grows, they can easily adopt additional tools and solutions across the ecosystem and really create this consolidation of all of their data and their workflows. With our platform as the foundation and single source of truth, it's not necessary for sellers or developers that are extending on the Square ecosystem to have to replicate data again and again. Sellers and developers can define really efficient workflows around that source of truth. And then that helps not only our sellers, but it helps them run their business, which means it helps their employees too. So everyone knows there's been a lot of labor shortages. So having really efficient tools and solutions allows our employees to be able to do their job piece so they can focus on what they really enjoy, which is typically investing in that relationship with the buyer and the customer. And that's what all of us enjoy. So really, we feel like by focusing on the platform and the ecosystem, we can give time back again and again for our sellers.
Yeah, thank you for that, Cyndy. I remember, when I first joined Square many years ago, Matthew O'Connor telling me about how, sellers and their businesses are kind of an extension of themselves. They don't really see it as, they're not there to be logistics specialists. They're there to run their business and they run their passion. One thing I want to mention specifically that we're doing is to make sure our APIs work seamlessly. To Cyndy's point, if you want to save sellers time, you need the ability to integrate different parts of the ecosystem. And the Orders API, for example, provides the ability to connect with other APIs. For example, you can use the customers or loyalty APIs to make sure like your customers can accrue loyalty points, your employees can track tips and attribute sales that they sold. So there's still a lot to do, but we believe that a connected ecosystem, like Cyndy was saying, really creates opportunities for us and for partners, many of you are on here right now, to build powerful experiences that will help sellers save time. Because we want to get to a place where when you do something in one part of the Square ecosystem, it's one and done, and it sort of cascades to the rest of the ecosystem. So super excited about saving time and so much more to do in this area. So all right, we're making great progress in this. Let's talk about the next theme. This one is very exciting for me to talk about because our team is sort of in the middle of this. It's about selling anywhere. Being able to sell across channels and platforms and locations has always been a thing. I used to work at Walmart.com many years ago, and Walmart had this somewhat cheesy slogan about being at the intersection of digital and physical. There was literally 2 signposts that said digital and physical. But that was several years ago, and the pandemic has really supercharged the need to sell anywhere. Something that used to be kind of nice to have was sort of a thing some people did has now really become table stakes. Cyndy, this one especially impacted our team in 2020, so I would love you to talk about how the acceleration of this trend changed our priorities in the last few years and how it'll continue to have a huge impact on what we do in commerce platform.
Yep. So I don't know that it had changed in our priorities because Square had already been focused on selling anywhere, and we call it omni-channel selling. So the ability to meet your buyers where they are. So we had been focused on it for several years prior to March 2020. So when the pandemic hit, we already had the Orders API launched and available. Our sellers were able to view and manage their omni-channel orders from both Square and third-party partners right in the point of sale. This was a really important foundation for us and for our sellers and developers in those early days of the pandemic. And we were able to take that foundation, that strong, flexible platform with the Orders API, and we accelerated efforts for anything that was causing acute pain, anything that was, pandemic restrictions, pandemic living, right? Like whatever we were doing, we were accelerating whatever we could to ease those pain points. And now, as the world evolves and all of us are figuring out a way to live alongside COVID instead of avoid COVID, our efforts are broader. The landscape has gotten more diverse. Sellers are experimenting with social selling, evolving the way they sell in existing channels. The pandemic inspired innovation and opportunity, and everyone wants to take advantage of it, and it's our job to help. So if we've learned anything in the last 2 years, diversity, both in where you're selling and how you're selling it, is going to be really important as things that are outside of your control shift. And we've spent a lot of time ensuring that our platform can be extended to solve any use case by Square or a third-party developer. As new use cases emerge, we leverage that platform that we've already built to accelerate solutions. We don't feel like we can predict the future, but we know we can have a platform that is flexible enough to evolve along with the future. And we know that we're doing well when we're focused on delivering incremental seller value to our ecosystem. That's what makes the ecosystem more powerful, so that understanding the jobs that sellers are trying to do and that we have the tools that they need to be successful is really how we best serve our sellers through all of these twists and turns that we've all been living with. It really, the flexible foundation of the platform and the ecosystem is our magic recipe for making sure that we can serve our sellers through any which way that they need.
Yeah, that's so true, Cyndy. I still remember that acceleration you were talking about, in 2020, where we tried to get restaurants to build online stores so they can start receiving orders online and doing pickup and delivery. It was literally accelerating anything we could do to make the experience more seamless and to give people more capabilities and tools. And like sellers really appreciated that. And you're right, it was a pretty seamless pivot because we had all these things in place. And it was really about stitching them together to make sure we could help sellers, move faster and start delivering things to their customers. Because we really need this multi-channel ecosystem. But like I said in the previous trend, sellers want us to do more, right? And so it's not just about what we've done today. these trends are continuing and evolving. And so we're continuing to innovate. We're continuing to work on things like Google My Store, and we build checkout links so you can pay a merchant without having to be there physically. They could email or text you a link. We've built QR code ordering so you could build tabs as you sit outside, which became the only way people could eat for several months. And so there's lots of stuff we've done to break down barriers across channels and locations, because our goal is really to have borderless orders and borderless sales, which brings me actually to the next trend. Because one of the reasons sellers want to be able to sell anywhere is because their buyers, the consumers, want flexibility. They want to be able to buy anywhere. They want to be able to buy anyhow they want. I remember we were looking at a chart just the other day at the adoption of tap payments in the US. And believe it or not, at the beginning of this year, 2022, tap payments have actually surpassed, and tap payments are, Apple Pay, Android Pay, contactless cards have surpassed swipe payments in the US. I never thought I would see the day, because we've been looking at these numbers for years. And this is just like a very specific but very small example of the dramatic rate at which buyers are willing to adopt new forms of paying, and how they will continue to expect that merchants will offer flexibility to get their business, because they now see flexibility as how sophisticated a business is. So I know a lot of discussion today, Cyndy, at Unboxed will be about merchants and partners and the Square ecosystem. So I would love for you to shed some light on your thought and share your thoughts on the buyer and the consumer, because they're a really important part of the ecosystem. And in some way, they actually drive the trends that push merchants and then that push us. So yeah, I'd love to have you chat about that a little bit.
Yep. So you brought up tap. I'm in your camp. Never thought, like, as someone that has recently stood behind someone in the grocery store still writing a check, it is amazing the warp speed that we're moving now. I mean, we've been trying to get consumers comfortable with not writing checks for decades, and here we are in just a very short period of time, really changing buyer payment habits. It's super exciting. And as things shift, we need to equip sellers to meet their buyers where they are. Buyers are pushing sellers in new directions. There's a lot of sellers out there that might be very content doing business the way they're doing it, but it's just not going to be possible. The good part about also what's going on with buyers right now is buyers have never been more committed to supporting their favorite businesses and supporting local and understanding that connection between how their purchasing habits drive the economy. So buyers are being a lot more thoughtful about where they're spending their money. And then that also adds another layer of the relationship. The buyer relationship has always been really important to our sellers. And now that is getting even more important as buyers are really investing in that relationship as well. So we have various tools in the Square ecosystem, all supported by that platform we've been talking about, for sellers to meet their buyers where they are. So things like buy now, pay later, and having Afterpay integrated seamlessly across our ecosystem on day one after the acquisition, that's a really strong sign of our commitment to helping our sellers meet their buyers where they are. And we already have so many other things in the ecosystem: order ahead, contactless checkout. There's a big grab bag of tools that our sellers can use. And that's the next piece of the puzzle, which is the last 2 years have introduced a lot of change. And it's a lot to take, to keep track of and to decide where sellers want to engage. And our goal is to simplify that for our sellers, and our tools and solutions do that. So as a seller's needs evolve for any reason, maybe their business is growing, maybe they're changing their strategy, or maybe they're dealing with a global pandemic, we consider it our responsibility to keep it simple, allow them to continue to focus on their passion, and have running their business be something that comes seamlessly through our ecosystem. We know that our sellers wake up every single day passionate about their business and thinking about their business and wanting to do new things with their business. And we wake up every day passionate about how our platform can help them do that. And how do we help make them successful? So economic empowerment, which is Square's mission, is not steady state. It needs a lot of tools for the twists and turns along the way. And our ecosystem is our commitment to making sure that those tools are there. And we're really excited for all of the new innovation and where the buyers are taking it.
I think thank you, Cyndy. almost a perfect note to wrap up, because we've covered just the highlights from the reports I mentioned from the research we did last year, and the pandemic isn't over. I think as we were working through this, we sometimes try to use past tense for the pandemic, and it's still going on, and so it's still a trying time for merchants, and they're still evolving. And I bet new trends will evolve, but many of the trends we've talked about helped sellers to survive, and in some cases actually helped them to thrive during the pandemic. And I really believe that these trends have shown us, in many cases, newer and better ways to do things. But also, consumers, like Cyndy, you've been saying, have new expectations, and some of the conveniences that we needed, that were born out of necessity during the pandemic, are going to continue to exist. And yeah, a success in the future for us, for merchants, will be how well they use their limited resources and how well we offer flexibility that they can offer to their customers and their buyers. So we're committed to doing both of these things, like Cyndy has said. And yeah, this has been great. The time went by really fast. So we're grateful for folks for hanging out with us and chatting with us about this, because we can talk about this all day, and this is really exciting to be able to share with you. But there's more. So everyone who's at Unboxed can actually see these reports we talked about. So let the moderators know, or reach out to us later, but they'll be available. We made these reports for retail, beauty, and restaurants, and as an overall commerce one. So we found them super valuable and insightful, and I hope you do as well. So let's see. It seems like we may have some questions. So they're comments, but no questions so far. So we have a few minutes, Cyndy, to talk a little bit more, and we'll see if questions come in. So let's give it a second, and if not, Cyndy's gonna ask me a question, since I asked Cyndy a bunch of questions so far. All right. Let's see. Nothing yet. Give it one more second, and let me see if I get a question.
I've got a question for you.
Okay, go for it.
We talked a lot about what we have done and what the foundation is for the work that we're doing. But why don't you tell me, what is the thing that you're most excited about that we're working on right now that's just on the horizon and will benefit the sellers and developers in our ecosystem?
Yes, I'm happy to chat about this. So we talked about the foundation we started, with the Orders API and being able to inject orders either from online or from a partner. One of the things we're really excited about is to supercharge that in some way. Because if you think about it, an order is an order. And I know someone on our restaurants team has been talking about them, our orders without borders. And we truly want to get to a place where you can start a sale literally anywhere in the Square ecosystem. Anywhere. You can start it online, start it on your phone, start it in the store, and that same order and that same sale can be picked up in any other part of the Square ecosystem and edited and paid for and modified in some way. So it's really this truly universal order concept. And for us, that starts with connecting our third-party ecosystem with our first-party ecosystem. And we're very close to doing that in ways that are completely seamless, that blur the borders completely. And that's going to unlock a whole bunch of magical experiences for checkout. Because you think about checkout, it's not just about paying. It's really about, we talked about it, sellers want to offer choice, and buyers want flexibility. And if you have this boundless, locationless order, you can buy stuff on TikTok, and the seller can see it and fulfill it. So we really want to get to a place where the order is this sort of ubiquitous concept that has no location. And so, yeah, we're working on a bunch of things there, and it's going to be super exciting. And so, yeah, watch out, for some of those things. You will see it in the API, but you'll also see it in the experiences.
Awesome. It looks like we've got a couple questions coming in, and one of them is very relevant to your world, Oseyi.
Mm-hmm.
Kia Dawkins, where will we be able to find the future reports?
Great question. So they are to be part of the UX for Unboxed. I will need to get to you about exactly how to find it, but it should be part of the tool that you're using to stream. And if not, we'll make sure we get that available because people signed up and registered. So if you don't find it, we'll make sure we either email it out or make it available as sort of a post conference. They're online right now, so you can find them on our squareup.com pages, but we want to make sure we get it to you quicker and faster. So we'll make sure we get that to you as quickly as possible.
Awesome. And the next one's an easy one. That does Square offer employee payroll type of system? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Do you have any thoughts on payroll? Oseyi, do you have any extra thoughts on payroll?
No, I think this is part of the whole, and Alyssa mentioned this. If you watched Alyssa and Brian and Nick talk earlier, she talked about this integrated ecosystem, or how you don't want different systems to run your business. Yes, we do have a payroll system. One thing that's really cool of using Square Payroll is because the employees in Square Payroll are the same employees in the point of sale. And so when you attribute a sale to an employee in Square Point of Sale, that carries over into Square Payroll. So yes, we have a payroll system. It's part of this integrated world we're talking about. And so yes.
It's a perfect example of the tools that we have in the ecosystem to make running your business easier.
Absolutely.
All right. And that was from Seedle. Thank you, Seedle, for the question. From Ben, when will Square be available in Mexico? So I'll take a first pass.
Go ahead, Cyndy.
Square does have a very strong commitment to expanding globally, and we are launching one country at a time. And Oseyi can speak to this a little bit more as well, but it's important that we're going country by country because we believe strongly that to meet our buyers where they are and to meet sellers where they are, we need to understand the local country customs and what the expectations are. So we're being very thoughtful as we launch each country to make sure that we are going to be able to meet a remarkable solution for the sellers in each different geography. I don't know, Oseyi, if there's anything more.
That's so true. Cyndy and I were just talking earlier about one of the Brian Graciona's comments in the earlier session about how payments and checkout is really cultural. I've worked on many of our launches around the world, and that's the lesson we learn every time. And when we don't take time, like Cyndy is saying, to understand the market, to understand the customs, to understand how payments is sort of integrated into culture, we don't do a good job. So I think to Cyndy's point, we will be in Mexico when we feel like we've understood the market and we can launch something that's compelling and that will be well received. So we're always looking at new markets and we're always researching and we're always working towards them. So yeah, we will be there someday when we think we can put out something remarkable. So thanks for that question though. We like people to ask about different markets because it reminds us that we need to keep working to go global.
Yep. All right, this is another one in your wheelhouse, Oseyi, from Peter. What changes are coming to orders searching? I noticed the time period for searching orders in the dashboard has shrunk to 30 days. This hurts our merchants who manage wine clubs.
I'd love hearing, first of all, thank you, Peter, for that question, because I love hearing the specific use cases. I like that you mentioned wine clubs, because sometimes we build these features and we build in sort of a more generic way, and the specificity really helps. Part of the reason why the searching was limited, some of it's for just scalability reasons. So if you have tons of orders, there are many merchants who don't need to go past 30 days. And so we're working right now on our infrastructure and the scalability of orders in general so that we can offer these capabilities for merchants that need it. And so reach out to us on the I'm not sure if Peter is a developer or a partner, but we have a Slack channel for the Orders API for developers. So Peter, if you're a developer, please reach out because I want to hear more about this because we're all about trying to find ways to meet specific use cases for that. But yeah, the answer is scalability. We need to improve scalability on the API, and we're working on that right now because we've seen larger merchants, because Peter mentioned sort of 30 days. There's also sort of work we need to do for merchants who have a lot of orders. So it's either you want a long time, so you want a long history, or there's some restaurants that get thousands of orders a week. So we want to be able to handle both. So definitely on the way. So I'm happy someone asked that question. love these questions. They're specific.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'll tell you, I wish we had reserved more time for questions.
I know.
My favorite part. So thank you to everyone that has asked questions. We'll do our best to circle back and answer questions that we didn't have time for live. We'll work with the team to figure out how we can get in touch with you after the fact. I want to remind everyone to please return to the main stage once we're done here. It was great spending 30 minutes with all of you. This, again, Oseyi already said we could talk about this all day.
We could, absolutely.
If you have questions, please reach out.
Yeah, reach out. Absolutely. And one last plug is all of the stuff we talked about today. The next session is going to be about SoFi Stadium, which is one of the installations of our platform. So a lot of the concepts we talked about today are evident in SoFi Stadium. So we hope you go to that and listen to those folks.
All right, awesome. All right. Have fun unboxed, everyone.
Yeah, have a good time. And it was great to get to chat with everyone. Good to see you again, Cyndy.
Yeah. Always good to see you,
All right.
All right. Thank you.